All right, good afternoon. Another day, another topic, rant. Actually, it's not going to be a rant today, but I do feel like it might be a little more meandering today than it usually is. I've had a hard time really solidifying the salient points here that I want to make today. But here we go. Let's give it a try. I've been talking a lot lately about identifying your food values and using those as a lens through which you can filter advice that you are receiving about how to help you and your family achieve your health, wellness, nutrition, feeding, mealtime goals. And the importance of identifying and using those values as that lens so that and because doing so allows you to find habits and behaviors that will stick. So, what happens then, or the problem with doing so, is that your values may come in conflict with others. So what do you do? What happens when that is the case? When your food values, and thus the way that you would approach mealtime, eating, feeding yourself, your family, your kids, what do you do when that comes in conflict with family members or close friends? And that is what I wanted to talk a little bit about today, because it's possible that that will happen, probably even likely that that will happen at some point. Let me start by telling you a story. My mother-in-law is an incredible cook. And when we go to her house, day one, when she knows we are arriving, she has an incredible spread. The last time this happened, she had homemade hummus and salsa, a spread of meats and cheeses and vegetables and breads and crackers ready for us. Flavored waters, adult beverages if we wanted them. I mean, you name it, it was ready. She is so thoughtful about how she prepares food. And her dinners are elaborate and delicious. This is a way in which she shows her love to us by making these incredible meals. She also likes to have dessert available every night. In our house, we do not have dessert every night. Years ago, when the kids were little, I did not want to start the habit of having a dessert every night. And we never had a rule that you had to clean your plate in order to get dessert or had to have a bite of something in order to get dessert. That was not the kind of habit that I wanted to create in our kids. And in fact, when they were really little, to give them something that they could count on, I would have fruit night, nothing night, and dessert night. And we would rotate through those throughout the week. So they knew, oh, last night was fruit night. That means it's dessert night or nothing night. So when we go to my in-laws' house, however, she likes to have dessert for us every night. It's part of her meal. It's part of how she shows her love for us. We have dessert. So what do we do? That stands in conflict with how we have made decisions about offering dessert in our house. So what do I do? And here is my, I don't know, what may be a hot take on this situation. My answer is nothing. When we are at Grandma's house, it's Grandma's rules. And here's why. There is a solid 15-hour car drive between us and our grandparents, which means we don't get to see them very often. And so when we are with them, the amount of time that I have to influence my kids' relationship with food and to make decisions about how mealtime occurs far outweighs the amount of time that my in-laws or my parents have to influence their relationship with food. And so when we have this really special time at Grammy's house, I let it be a special time at Grammy's house. And her decision to serve dessert every night, we let that happen. I don't think it is my responsibility to change her to suit our needs, especially, again, when the balance of time is so out of whack there. I have a much greater influence on my kids' daily relationship with food than either my in-laws or my parents do. And so for me, it's not a conflict that I need to engage in because there isn't enough time for it to really matter. Now, people who know me well will also tell you I'm very conflict avoidant. And so, certainly there is an element of that. There are times when I will say, maybe we hold off on dessert tonight. So if we've gone mini golfing and then had ice cream after mini golfing, I might say something like, you know what, you guys, we had that wonderful ice cream after mini golf today. Maybe we'll skip dessert tonight. And if you want something sweet, you can have some fruit. And generally it's accepted, it's understood, and it's okay with everyone. So that's how I choose to handle situations like that. Now, if I were in a different situation and my parents or my in-laws or a close family friend or somebody had a greater possibility, more time spent with my kids, and more time thus to influence their relationship with food, this would be a little bit more important that I figure out how to have this kind of conversation with them. And here, my advice for handling this kind of conflict when your values may be in conflict with a family member or a close family friend or a close friend, and they have the ability to influence your kids or they participate in your kids' feeding and mealtime in a way that is similar to your own. The way that I would encourage you to handle a situation like that, the way I would choose to handle a situation like that, is that I would share with them that Venn diagram that I've been talking about. I would identify for them. I would say, look, these are my goals. This is my circle, my why. My what. This is what I'm hoping to be able to do. These are the goals that we have. And here's how I'm trying to do that, right? So the what that I'm hoping to achieve and how I'm hoping to achieve that. And these are my values about why and why I am choosing the advice that I am to help me get to that goal. Have a conversation. So tell them where it is you're headed. Be curious. Be curious about why they make different decisions. Be curious about how they make their decisions. Be curious about what matters to them. Ask them for their thoughts. This is about having a conversation. It's not about being right or necessarily changing anybody's minds. There are lots of ways that we all get to our goals. And they may have other ideas, and you may be able to find alignment between your values and theirs, or spaces where there is closer alignment that feels okay to everyone. And then in the end, it's your choice to decide how important it is that you push on this particular issue with that individual. And again, for me, the key is how much time and how much of an influence do they actually have on the long-term habits that my kids are forming. It feels like, oftentimes for me, it feels like every meal is critical. Tonight's dinner, I made this meal and the kids didn't like it, and afterwards they were still hungry and they wanted, something else to eat. But we have so many opportunities to influence our kids' relationship with food. We really, really do. If you do the math on how many meals, not to mention snacks, you are serving as a parent, the number is enormous. So pick and choose whether or not the people in your life who may have conflicting values with your own have the same kind of opportunity to influence your kids' relationships with food, with mealtime, and then decide how much of your own experience you want to share with them. Really feel like that was, again, sort of meandering and not very clear. Key takeaway messages: you have a lot of time to influence your kids' relationship with food, much more so than many other individuals in their lives. If you have identified your own what, how and why, and are using your values to filter the advice that you're getting, that's great. Share that with other people. And if you find that it is in conflict, and it is in conflict with the person that has the ability, because of the amount of time they spend with your kids, to also influence your children's relationship with food, then it is probably even more important that you have that kind of critical conversation, but approach that conversation with an open mind, with curiosity, and with trying to share information rather than change someone's mind. And that's what I've got for you today. All right. Thank you for being here, for listening, for reading. I'll see you next time.